In this video, we're going to be ranking every major Clash Royale update since 2020 from worst to best. Now, during this time frame, I have identified 18 updates that I would consider to be major. So let's not waste any time. Use code SolarFury. Let's get into it. So starting out in dead last, we have the update from March 2023, which is the update for losers. Now, just the name of the update is already bad enough, but what actually came in this update was much worse. So the biggest thing that got people up in arms was the fact that they increased the price of the Pass Royale from $5 to $7, and then they added the Diamond Pass at $12. And then also on top of that, the one redeeming feature this update did have was that they added the season shop here, but that's not even in the game anymore. So this update basically has zero redeeming qualities to it. Before this update, the Pass Royale used to be just $5, which was incredible value for what you got. Then they increased it by $2 and then took some of the rewards from that pass and put it into the Diamond Pass, so that way you would have to pay more. Now, I will say they have made improvements to the Diamond Pass over the year, and they did get rid of the Gold Pass, which was kind of a bummer. But overall, this update, zero redeeming qualities to it. Absolutely horrible. 0 out of 10. Coming in at number 17, we have the most recent Clash Royale update, which is the Heroes and Level 16 update. So as you all know, of course, this update added Level 16, which no one asked for. It removed Elite Wildcards, which no one asked for. It added Heroes, which no one asked for and are incredibly broken and pretty pay to win as well. And it also removed magic items, including books and the magic coin. And it also reworked the gem economy, which I'm fairly neutral on, but everything else is just horrible stuff that no one asked for. And the timing of this update could not have been worse. Clash Royale was at an all-time peak. It had crazy momentum. And then after this update came out, all that momentum pretty much died. Views are going down, concurrent players are going down, revenue's going down for the game. So yeah, kind of a big L on Clash Royale's part. 0.5 out of 10. Next up at number 16, we have kind of a mirror image of the Heroes update, and this was the Evolutions update from June 2023. Basically, this update added evolutions to the game, and while I have come around to like evolutions these days, back then they were incredibly pay to win and also incredibly broken and meta altering. Then of course we got level 15, which once again no one asked for, and also elite wildcards, which back then were way too pay to win. I mean, level 15, in order to get a maxed out level 15 account, you'd have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. It was ridiculous. Now, as I said, evolutions have become better in Clash Royale, but they also stopped adding them in favor of heroes, which is a big L. And then elite wildcards got completely removed, and level 15 has now been surpassed by level 16. So yeah, not too much good going on here. 2.5 out of 10. Coming in at 15th place, we have the oldest update that is on this ranking, and that was Clan Wars 2. This update came around August or September of 2020, I believe, and it reworked the existing Clan Wars system into a much more flawed version that was just really unpolished and just had so many holes, and really no one enjoyed it. It was just kind of bad overall. The crazy thing about 2020 Clash Royale was that there had been pretty much no major updates prior to this, and since it was the pandemic during lockdown, people were like craving for new content with Clash Royale, and then they added this, which was very bad. And then coming up at number 14 is also tied to this update, and it was literally just an update that was released in November of 2020 that just added a bunch of fixes to Clan Wars 2. It's crazy, they spent a whole cycle of development working on Clan Wars 2, then had to spend additional months releasing a whole update just to fix all the problems that it had. That's really bad. And I mean, the fixes were necessary. They did make some improvements to Clan Wars 2, but overall it was still just an incredibly underwhelming feature. So these two updates combined are gonna get a 3 out of 10. Coming in at number 13, we have another update from 2025, this one coming in March and April, and this was the removal of chests. Along with that, we had the removal of the season shop, which people are still talking about today. We also had the addition of the boss bandit, and we also had some pathfinding changes to some troops. Now, chests were kind of re-added back to Clash Royale in the form of the lucky chest, but man, removing them was just so unexpected and uncalled for, because chests had been such an iconic part of Clash Royale ever since the game released in 2016, and getting rid of them and then getting rid of the season shop as well, which was a feature a lot of people love, it just left a horrible taste in the community's mouth. The troop pathfinding changes, on a game-to-game basis, you don't really notice them, but they are there. And then the Boss Bandit is a pretty cool champion, I will say. Very annoying, but also pretty cool as well. But overall, this update gets a 3.5 out of 10. It's nothing special. Next up at number 12, we have one of the most useless updates of all time, and it was the Battle Banners update, which came in the summer of 2022. And I mean, Battle Banners and profile customization was pretty much the only thing that was added during this update. And that's kind of bad to spend an entire development cycle on just cosmetic features. Now, the only reason this doesn't rank lower is because battle banners are cool. I do enjoy them. They've become a core part of Clash Royale's cosmetics, and there are some really cool banner designs out there. And this update did lay the foundation for that, which is something that I can respect. But because that was basically all that was added during this update, I gotta give it a 4 out of 10. Very underwhelming. Coming in at number 11, we have the Tower Troops update, which came at the beginning of 2024 and kind of the end of 2023 as well. It was kind of weird how they did that. Basically how it worked was at the end of 2023, they made the Princess Tower a card, and then January 1st of 2024, they made the Cannoneer into the game. So it kind of spanned 2 years, but also not really. But yeah, that was really all that came with this update. We got the Cannoneer, only one tower troop when this update was supposed to be hyped as like game defining, and we only got one new addition for them. Overall, I do think tower troops are a okay addition to Clash Royale. We haven't gotten a new one in ages since the Royal Chef came out, but they're kind of cool to switch it up every once in a while. The Princess Tower is still the most dominant one, but there are some niche situations where the Chef, the Duchess, and the Cannoneer can be fun. So for that, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. Next up at number 10, we had the big update during the summer of 2024, which was the Goblin Queen's Journey. So of course we did have the whole Goblin Queen's Journey trophy road, which was an entirely separate trophy road, a different way to play the game. The tower troop that was added was pretty unique because it would just shoot out goblins, and it was kind of chaotic and also kind of fun simultaneously. We got 3 new cards with one update, which was huge. We got the Goblin Machine, Goblin Demolisher, and Goblin Curse, all of which have had their moments in the sun, but have been pretty inconsistent in terms of their balancing. But the biggest thing that knocks down this update for me is the fact that the Goblin Queen's Trophy Road was actually temporary. It was released, I believe, in June of 2024 and then removed in October of that same year. Now, the Goblin Queen itself is now a ruler in Merge Tactics, which is cool. And of course, the 3 cards are still in the game, but the actual road has been gone for like a year and a half in this point, which is actually wild. But overall, pretty solid update overall. I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. Coming in at number 9, we have another fairly recent update from October 2025, which was the rework of Lucky Drops to be in Lucky Chests. As I previously mentioned, we had an update that removed chests from the game, but this update added them back. But only they're basically reskinned Lucky Drops just to look like chests. So chests are kind of back, I guess. But yeah, lucky chests are fine. There's nothing crazy. I do like the seasonal lucky chests. While the card pool from them does change every season and you may not get stuff that you want, it is still extra progression on top of the lucky chest that already exists. And whenever there is a boost to progression, I will always be happy with that. Then there was also some new Merge Tactics content, but I won't go too deep into that because this is not a Merge Tactics video, okay? I do be liking Merge Tactics, and we will get to that a little bit more in a little bit, but I'm mainly highlighting the main core game of Clash Royale. But yeah, overall a decent update, kind of small, but also no complaints, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Coming in at number 8, we have the update from fall of 2022, and this is when they first added the Path of Legends, which is now known as Ranked Mode. During this update, they also reworked the Trophy Road. They extended it to be 20 arenas, and they also added champions to the Trophy Road, which back then was a huge deal. Not as much of a big deal anymore, but champions are still cool to get, and the fact that they're available for free in this scenario is very cool. And then they also reintroduced daily quests into this update, which was great, an extra source of progression if you were a consistent and loyal player. But again, that has been removed. That's great. But honestly, the biggest thing this update is known for were the 2 cards that were added, which were the Monk and the Phoenix. Both are really cool cards. They're kind of relatively niche at this point in time. You don't really see Phoenix much, but you do see Monk quite a bit in Royal Giant. But back then, Monk and Phoenix took over the meta. They both had like at least 70% usage rates. I think the Phoenix was up to 90% at one point across Ultimate Champion. And those 2 cards just totally took over the meta. And if you did not have them and you did not have them leveled up, then you were going to struggle to win. And that left a bad taste in a lot of players' mouths, but they did fix them over time. And overall, the addition of the Path of Legends was pretty cool. And so overall, I'll give this update 7 out of 10. Coming in at number 7, we have another smaller update, and this was the one from March 2024, and it was the addition of Lucky Drops. Now, Lucky Drops, when they first came out, you could only get one of them per day, but let me tell you, they were pretty good. Magic items were basically the name of the game for Lucky Drops back then, which was so clutch because you could take those and put them towards whatever card you wanted instead of just getting like 1,000 goblins from a 4-star. So Lucky Drops back then were pretty good. I honestly loved them the most back then. And then also in this update, we had the Dagger Duchess, which was the first tower troop since the Cannoneer, and she was incredibly busted back then. But also really fun to play. I still think she's my second favorite tower troop. So I'll give this update a 7.2 out of 10. I think it barely edges out the last one. Coming in at number 6, we have another update from 2024, and this was from fall, and it was the first Lucky Drop rework update. So even though the first rendition of Lucky Drops was my favorite, I do think that this rendition was more useful because they were available in higher quantities and there was still a good chance to get magic items from them. Lucky Drops, they were added to the past, they were added to other methods of progression such as milestone events and things of that nature, and overall it ended up being a positive to progression rather than a nerf, which is very rare these days. In this update, they also added an additional wild shard to the free side of the pass, which was a big deal, getting 2 per month instead of 1 per month. Absolutely huge right there. And then also in that update, we got a new champion, Goblin Queen, who is still a very fun and unique champion. Again, back then was incredibly broken and now is pretty good, well balanced, I would say overall. And this update, I would probably give a 7.5 out of 10. These past few have kind of all been similar to me in terms of rankings, but I had to differentiate them somehow. Now moving into the top 5, we have the March 2022 update, also known as the Miner update. And the reason it's called the Miner update is because this is when the Mighty Miner was added, and it was the first champion that was added to the game after the original bunch. And Mighty Miner has just remained a solid card ever since it's been released. It's just been very good. I like it a lot. But honestly, the biggest thing that was added during this update was Masteries. Masteries back then were game revolutionizing, I guess you could say. And even though they have been nerfed since then, they are still a solid source of progression overall, and it gives you something to work towards with each and every one of your cards. It encourages you to play cards that you may not play otherwise, so that way you can get the masteries for them in terms of the progression, and you can also get badges for your profile, which is really cool. Oh yeah, actually, that was another thing added during this update, badges for your profile. The badges system basically got a complete overhaul. It made it so that way there were a lot more of them in Clash Royale, and cosmetic expression is always a positive thing. So overall, this update, again, not a big one, but Masteries and Mighty Miner, that kind of separates it and puts it in top 5 for me. I'll give it a 7.8 out of 10. Coming in at number 4, we have the Summer 2021 update, aka the best quality of life update in Clash Royale history. Now again, we had nothing that was super major that was added, but there were so many good things that were added. Let me just read them off. We had the Goblin Drill, we had 2 new arenas, Rascal's Hideout and Serenity Peak, we had the addition of gold crates to the game, we had more Clan Wars changes, which were actually good Clan Wars changes, and the game mode hasn't really been altered since, showing how beneficial these changes were. We had more deck slots, you had the ability to rewind replays, you had the addition of more friendly game modes, and also a bunch of other stuff. It was just a whole lot of quality of life changes plus a new card, and there was nothing bad here. I guess the only thing you could point to is that the Goblin Drill was really strong upon release, but they took care of that. But we just got solid content, and these days, if that update were to come out like today, everyone would give it a 10 out of 10. But I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It was very solid, just, good stuff right there. Coming in at number 3, this one's gonna be controversial, but we have the Champions update from November 2021. Now this update was met with a lot of controversy, mainly because this is when level 14 was added, and this was the first example of Clash Royale adding a new level. Level 13 had been the max level since the beginning of the game, which was, it had been 5 years up to that point. And adding level 14, especially in the way they did it, with the whole Slash Royale event and getting people to spend their gold before they release a new level, it was a little bit shady. Clash Royale did end up compensating players' cards back that they upgraded, which was good. And I guess the way I look at this now is that, yeah, level 14 wasn't the greatest thing back then, but could have been worse. And it did get worse. got a lot worse. But yeah, some other things in this update. We got champions, whole new rarity of card. Very, very fun rarity of card as well. The first batch of champions that we got were the Archer Queen, the Golden Knight, as well as the Skeleton King. All three very fun cards to play. We also got the King's Journey, where you get level up chests and also now evolution shards for leveling up, which is more progression. You had the ability to unlock star points earlier in the game. You had a higher concentration of gold crates, also higher drop rates for legendary cards. You had the addition of the Royal Wild chest, which is really good. And then also a rework to challenges and tournaments to make the standard level 11 instead of level 9. Based on all that, you can tell that this update had so much stuff in it. And despite the controversy, overall, I think it is still a really good update. I'm going to give it an 8.2 out of 10. Next up at number 2, we have another update that is relatively small in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to the last one, but it was the March 2021 update, and this is where they added magic items. Now, with the current state of Clash Royale in 2026, magic items have taken a bit of a hit because books and the magic coin are no longer in the game. Screw you, Clash Royale. But of course, we do still have wild cards and boost potions and things of that nature. And this update is why they still exist. I mean, this was literally a fundamentally game-altering update for Clash Royale for the better. It gave you more freedom of choice in terms of the cards that you upgrade. Now, again, even though that has been nerfed, the fact that it is still there in the game, the fact that you still can get wild cards and put them towards whatever you want, that is a big deal. And also more wild cards were added after this, like the addition of the champion wild card. And also the wild evolution shard is technically a magic item. So this update laid the groundwork for all of that. And solely because of all that, I think it has to be top 2. And for that, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Now coming in at number 1, this is definitely going to be a hot take, but I think it is the summer 2025 update, which had a lot of content and pretty much all of it was good. We had the addition of merge tactics, which again is game defining. And as I mentioned earlier, even though merge tactics is not my favorite thing in the entire world, I still do enjoy it. When I want to break from the normal ladder grind or ranked grind with Clash Royale, I go play merge tactics and it's fun. I really do enjoy it. And it also has extra progression items along its road, which you can apply to your normal cards. So you can progress throughout the game and also get your lucky chest while not having to deal with the stress of Mega Knight, Executioner, Tornado, you know? This was also the update that reworked the Path of Legends to be ranked. And I do enjoy the new rank system. I think it is a little more exclusive now, having to reach a certain trophy count every single season to unlock ranked. I think that's good. Rank should be more challenging. The previous system with the Path of Legends was not as challenging to get into the Master and Champion Leagues. But now it is, because you're playing against a much better pool of players. So I think that was a necessary change. We also got the Spirit Empress, very unique card, who is basically 2 cards in one. Of course, y'all all know the Spirit Empress. 3 elixir form, 6 elixir form, 6, 7. You know, she's very cool. We also got some new cosmetic badges, which are pretty cool. We got some more UI reworks, which I honestly think look pretty good. And overall, the best thing about this update, for the most part, is that it is not problematic. When looking back at all these updates that have happened since 2020, pretty much all of them have some sort of problem with them. This update has the least amount of problems with them. And the fact that I'm saying that I think is absolutely ridiculous, but just because of that, I think that makes this the best update of the past 6 years. And even then, it still does not get a 10 out of 10. It gets a 9 out of 10. I don't think there has ever been a 10 out of 10 Clash Royale update. And I don't think there ever will be. So yeah, those are my rankings. Let me know what you think about them as well. I'm sure my rankings are gonna cause quite a bit of controversy, but let me know in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you made it this far, comment Spirit Empress goated for real. Use code SolarFury, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.